Hi, how am I looking? Because for some reason I couldn't get on my computer. The password kept on saying incorrect, so I'm trying to do it from my phone. But am I looking glary? Because I can move somewhere else.
No, you're okay. You look good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
I
you
didn't
for the
take a big breath.
struggle.
I'm stressed there, but anyway. Right, let's start. My husband and I were sitting out on our deck, deep in thought and reflection, and occasionally we would look up and catch each other's eye, and we knew what each other was thinking. How did this happen? Now, it wasn't like we were making mad, passionate love every night. I had 3 children, it was still breastfeeding. But here I was, 40, midlife, and pregnant. So hi, my name is Sharleen Greer, and for the last 10 years I have walked beside women who are learning to navigate their middle years. And these are women who are looking for new attitudes, new answers, and new ways of being. Now, we all know that midlife can be messy and it can be mad. However, I'm here to tell you that it can also be magnificent and magical. But first of all, I just want to say how thankful I am for my foremothers, for the sacrifice that they made for women's rights. So I want to honour my foremothers, my grandmother, my mother, all the women here listening to this, especially you, Gertrude, and also myself. Midlife women are the biggest demographic in history right now. So we have this incredible opportunity where we can learn new world cultural views on how to be in midlife. And then we can pave the way for our children, our next generation of women. I have 4 daughters, so obviously they are a large part of my motivation. I want them to embrace midlife and feel empowered, enthusiastic, and excited. It wasn't all that long ago in the early 19th century that the average life expectancy for women was 47 years of age. And somehow that truth overflowed into my mother's generation. So I grew up hearing stories like, when you turn 50, you are really, really old and life will be nearly over. You will also be going to your GP frequently to get that script for sleeping pills, antidepressants, and then later on hormone replacement therapy. So it is no wonder that midlife and actually menopause as well is seen as a medical event to be feared rather than a normal physiological event to be embraced. Another story I grew up hearing was that my husband may run off with a young model. So therefore, to stop this happening, I needed to keep looking youthful, get the meals on the table, keep the house clean, and to keep the peace. So in other words, a peacemaker, a people pleaser, and a perfectionist. Now, my husband did run off with a young model, but thank goodness it was a 10-foot red surfboard. And I'm sure that some of your husbands at 50 may have gone out and invested in a big, black, powerful model. Now, you know that song, and don't worry, I'm not going to sing it. Get your motor running, head out on the highway, looking for an adventure, anything coming my way. Now, imagine this, an army of sexy, black leather-clad women heading to the highway on their motorbikes, spreading the message that midlife can actually be magnificent. I think Helen Reddy would approve her song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, in numbers too big to ignore. So obviously my 40s was about parenting, and even though I had my wobbles at the beginning, once Rose was born, that love affair started. And in fact, I obviously survived, but I also thrived because I heard this inner whisper, and it said, get creative. And I was like the universe is playing tricks on me, because I'd just created 4 daughters. Wasn't this enough? However, those promptings didn't go away, and eventually I got it. And I actually rediscovered my love of crochet, which became my saving grace through those early parenting years of my 40s. And I even got a crocheted costume accepted at the prestigious World of Wearable Arts here in New Zealand, in Wellington. My 50s were a lot bigger, as they are for so many women, and I took a month out to celebrate and went to Italy and Croatia. But when I came home, I was really restless. I kind of felt like I had more traveling to do, and I knew that crochet wasn't going to help me to pay for that. So I needed to pivot so I could fulfill this new passion. So one day when I was feeling wobbly again, I Googled midlife on the computer, and I heard this saying that said, women die in their 50s but are not born till their 80s. And I thought, wow, if I potentially got 30 years left, I do not want to be lost in the wilderness. So I got into action mode and started my coaching business, Midlife Courage, which still exists today. The average life expectancy now for women is 84, and we are coming, we are so much stronger and wiser and more resilient, which is wonderful. Now, I was lucky. I did get to do quite a lot of traveling in my 50s, and I just want to share two kind of trips that have stuck in my mind for today. And one is I got invited to a 10-day retreat in the Isle of Iona in Scotland. A midlife mentor had written several books, and her first book was actually about her taking a year out from her life at 50 to discover who she was. And these books became my Bibles. And whoops, my dear, sorry. And meeting Joan was truly magnificent. Now, last year I went to go to Bali for a month, and I fell in love with it all over again, like I did in the 70s. So coming home on the plane, I heard those inner whispers again, and this time I knew to listen straight away. And what it said was, take midlife women to Bali. And I thought, what a jolly good idea. So this year in May, I was supposed to take my first group. And when that didn't happen, I ceased the opportunity. And I've been very fortunate to be able to run or facilitate 5 in-person events called Bali Bliss Days. And I'm looking quite dark, aren't I? I'm just going to move and go into another part of my husband's office and see if you can see me a bit better. These days revolve around that's much better. These days, sorry, I'm plugging in. This is going to be one of those technically challenged talks. Those 3, the day revolves around 3 pillars, and that is 3 powerful pillars that I was challenged with, and I know that lots of midlife women are challenged with them at midlife. The first one, the powerful pillar of pleasure. So after a lifetime of being all things to all people, we finally get this amazing opportunity to put ourselves first. And boy, do we find it hard. We feel guilty, indulgent, decadent. Spending money on ourselves can be such a kind of a mindset block. However, I started with small moments, and now of finding pleasure in my day, and now I love, like once a month, I make sure I go on a date with myself, whether that be a dinner date or to the movie. My girls don't get it. They kind of say to me, they call me Mrs. No Friends. However, I have become to cherish this me time, and you will too. The next powerful pillar is the pillar of purpose. Maybe the kids are leaving home, the husband's leaving home, and I know my youthful body is leaving home as I get more sags and bags and wrinkles. Now look, this purpose thing doesn't need to be big moments like Oprah Winfrey or Mother Teresa. They can be, but for lots, it's just once again finding what brings you joy, listening to those inner whispers like I did, and getting creative and curious and trying new things. And when that excitement bubbles up within, then they are the clues. The last pillar is the pillar of play. So I say to women, what did you love to do? What did you love to play with when you were a child? And the answers will once again be the clues as the synchronicities start to unfold. I had one woman, and she rediscovered that she loved playing with mud as a child. She loved getting messy, much to her mother's horror, and she loved the texture of the mud in her hands. So at midlife, she went on and did a pottery course and now sells her pottery. Nothing else has changed in her life except she rediscovered what lights her up, and she rediscovered that childlike sense of innocence and freedom. Now, do you know the opposite of play is not depression, is not work, it is depression. We need to play more as midlife women. Now, finally, I want to talk about three, it's like at midlife, we're standing at a fork and we have three paths that we can take. So, and this is what I've noticed with working with women. The first path is the path of resignation. We kind of give up and accept the status quo. The problem with this path is that we keep really busy by doing more eating, more drinking, more shopping, adding more to our to-do list, and binging on Netflix, especially when there's great series out there like Schitt's Creek and whatnot. The second path is the path of detonation, blowing everything up and just trying to get out, leaving the husband, leaving the job. And I'm certainly not saying that those things need to happen, because sometimes they do, to rediscover who we are. However, the problem I see with this path is that we don't stop and celebrate and appreciate the good times. The last path is the choice that I'm seeing more and more midlife women taking. And I know that most of you have taken this path, otherwise you wouldn't be here speaking. But that is the path of exploration. And it is the way to move through the mess and the madness. It can be uncomfortable at times, and it's a path that takes time, and there will be speed bumps and potholes and sharp corners. However, there will be lots and lots of signposts. There'll be the light from the full moon guiding you on, and there'll also be all these amazing midlife women who have been there before, cheering you on. This is the path that gets you to magnificence and magic. So I just want to finish off with saying, do the work in your middle years. It is so worth it. You get it back threefold. I turned 60 last year, and what I've learned in this year is that I am certainly listening to my heart and my stomach, my gut more rather than my head. I'm learning about being rather than doing. And I'm learning that there's a legacy that I want to leave. And certainly after listening to some of the stories today as well. Yeah, there's a big legacy I want to start leaving. I'm also getting the sense that I want to reclaim my birthright of wholeness, authenticity, and wisdom. But you know, the weirdest thing, and other women in their 60s have said this to me, that I feel inside, I feel younger, but outside, my body is aging. That is so weird to me. But my friends, I've learned that the reason this is because the human spirit, the soul, never dies. We all know women that have died in their, that haven't reached their middle age. And so, we just need to make the most of these middle years. And they are magnificent, they are magic, and it is a miracle that we have reached this wonderful age. Thank you.